Everything you're doing right now is something every single person on this call can do, has the ability to do.
100%.
What makes it a little bit easier for us is that there's only so many things that can go wrong with the human body.
Truth.
We all have made from the same things, so there's only so many things that can go wrong, and with that there's only so many medications they're going to prescribe you for that. So if you run enough appointments, you just run into a lot of the same things. Now that's not to say you're not going to run into a combination of things that might throw you off a little bit. The heart failure, the AFib and the heart stuff, a lot of stuff can be a little bit confusing, but everything else is pretty cut and dry. We have a lot of people asking questions on there that I think if they took 5 or 10 minutes, they could do the research, find out on their own, and then they would know it rather than keep putting it out there. Now, Telegram's a great app. It helps so many people out, but I almost think we use it as a crutch rather than learning what we're supposed to be doing, which is field underwriting. And we lean on you for our source of information for everything rather than finding out ourselves.
Right.
I think it could just carry a little bit more weight when you can do the research in the home yourself and find the answers to those questions. And like you said, those apps are invaluable. If the question is, have they ever, and been diagnosed with, blah, 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 whatever it is, and they have a medication, you Google the medication that says it's for that condition, chances are that's going to get declined. And the reason why I think this is so valuable is, yes, with Americo, we get instant decisions we know right away, and then we can pivot to something else. But we only write 38% of our business with Americo right now. The other 72% or 62% is going to some other carriers that may not have instant approvals. So then we're waiting a couple of days to find out they were denied due to script checks, they were denied due to this condition, and so I think their approval rate, our placement rate, and our income will all go up if we just do a little bit better job, a little bit more homework up front in doing those field underwriting. Get to know the basic medications, and what's going to be okay. The confusing ones, the 1%ers, you can always reach out and ask somebody. When you're brand new, you can reach out and ask somebody, but you're only brand new once. So you should start getting to know those a little bit better and get those down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest game changer for me were when those carrier cheat sheet grids were released.
Yeah.
And being able to just go worst case scenario down a list and across, that was a total game changer. I think a lot of new agents especially move too quickly when it comes to trying to find a carrier and a product, because I think the feeling is that I've got this person, I need an answer right now, otherwise I'm going to lose them. But if you spend a little bit of time, maybe like a minute or two, looking everything up and then asking for third-party validation, that is going to show your client that you are a professional. You don't know everything, but you know how to get the right answer for them. And that's going to build more value in the home than being able to pull, I already know what it is before you even told me what your medications are.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I think like something that you just touched on, I think is so important for new agents to understand, is that when you're on your phone and you're doing this and you're sitting in front of a client, you just mentioned, let me look into this. You have all the time in the world. A minute to you might seem like, or a minute to them might seem like a lifetime to you because you're rushed and you feel like you're looking through something. I was at a car dealership last weekend and we want to see if these wheels can get put on this new car. That guy was down there for 15 minutes doing research. He might have lost service. He might have not even paid his phone bill and had to pay it. But he's just doing his job. So we just left him alone to see if these wheels can get put on this car. If you're trying to get life insurance and you're in your phone and you're doing some research, they don't know if you're looking at the different carriers that we're appointed with. They don't know if you're running different scenarios. You're trying to find the best deal, the best option you possibly can. You have a lot more time, so you relax a little bit. But us as new agents, we get a little bit nervous and we feel like we're taking too long. We're gonna start annoying people, but we're just doing our job. So everybody out there, just take a little bit more time, do a little bit more research. Telegram is always going to be there for you if you can't find the answer. But I always say, try and find the answer first. Use the applications themselves, use drugs.com, and use Google. And you should be able to help yourself out a little bit more. And then that way you won't have to ask for as much help. Okay. Moving on to the one thing that I really wanted to focus on today And this is virtual sales. And so, you know, FFL kind of, when the whole COVID thing hit, we got punched in the throat for about a week, and we said, nope, we meet people face to face. We're essential workers. We're going to go to people's houses. We're going to do it from their driveway. We're going to show them our ID through a window. We're going to wear a mask on the front porch, whatever we need to do. But that is our business model, right? And the reason why we did that is because that's all we knew. We knew that worked. We didn't want to put something out there, because previously we have had people do virtual sales in our business, and they really struggled with a couple things. They struggled with placement, and they struggled with persistency. And so and those are the two things that really matter in this business. How much of what you write is going to get approved, and how much of what you get approved is actually going to stay on the books. So we had a few people, because of where they lived in a state that they couldn't leave anywhere and they couldn't meet with people, they had to go 100% virtual. And what we found over the last year and a half is it works if you do it the right way. Okay. And so now that I personally think Family First Life has taken everything we've done. We took mortgage protection, we became best in the country at it. Final expense, best in the country at it. We grabbed internet leads, became best in the country at that. We do a phenomenal job with IULs and annuities. And I have no doubt that we'll be the best in virtual sales as well too. And sort of a hybrid way of doing things. You can offer up meeting somebody in the house. You can offer up doing it over Zoom. You can offer up doing it over the phone. Or you can just strictly do virtual sales. And I think Echo's done a great job in transitioning into full-time virtual sales. And I wanted to go over what it is that you do, how you set yourself up, what kind of leads you get, what are you spending on leads too? We know you just issued 22,000 last month, all virtual. So walk us through, first of all, I want to know what your process is for going to virtual sales, because you could sell a lot of insurance face-to-face, and you decided to do virtual. So walk us through that process and how you got yourself ready for that.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything shut down, I also contracted it. It came home from my kids' school. So I had no choice but to do virtual sales for about 2.5 weeks. And so that really kind of gave me a lot of experience, because I had no other choice. I still needed to make money. I still needed to feed my family. I was sick as a dog, but I was still able to help families. And I was able to write, I think in those 2 weeks, I wrote about 10,000. So about 5K each week. And a couple of annuities came out of that as well, that I did over Zoom. Advanced Markets works over virtual sales as well, especially if you build enough value with your client. So this next time, just recently, a couple of months ago, when I made the decision, we had another scare through one of my kids' schools. And so I was like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable going out endangering my clients. So I'm going to go virtual, because it's a lot easier for me to get to more people if I'm sitting at my desk, and I can broaden my reach to other states that I'm licensed in like 10 states now. So I can get leads anywhere. And in Southern California, leads are a rarity. They're a scarcity. It's hard to find leads. Especially when I moved down here about a year ago, it's a lot changed now. There's a lot more internet leads, but setting myself up with a good, consistent lead flow is really the biggest thing. Whether you're doing virtual or face-to-face, but especially virtual, because you're going to need a lot more leads, because you can't door knock, right? To resolve your leads. So you need a lot more leads in order to get to the amount of people that you need to get your appointment count where you want it to be. So I basically
how many leads a week are you buying right now?
The sheer number, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I'm right up. I'm about 1,500 to 2,500 a week, depending on how much data I mail out. I'm about 75% direct mail, and then 25% is internet sources. So CRM leads, EverQuote, Emerald leads, anywhere that I can buy data on hand. And that's really what I use to get more leads on a moment's notice in order to supplement what's coming in mail wise if it's a slow mail week. And I found that direct mail works really well for me. But virtual internet leads are still awesome. You just have to get more of them.
Yeah, you have to spend a little bit more time on the phone. You have to get a little bit more leads. But for newer agents that don't have the budget to do mailers right out of the gate, that's the best way to go. And we also we dropped in 850,000 older mortgage leads that we've never had before into the system earlier this week. And I think they've got 1.3 million more coming in.